Hi there, welcome back to a new journaling video. Today I've got my Smile Junk Journal. I'm not going to be actually using junk today. It's going to be mostly old bits and pieces. I'm using up old stash basically. This page has come about from a really silly text from my sister. It came to me Saturday night after 10 o'clock and it just made me think, only my sister would send me a text like this. Can't think of anyone else in the world that would send a text like that, and so naturally it just had to go in this smile journal because the silly girl just makes me smile all the time. So I'm using up old stash, like I said. I've got this big bag of plastic 12 by 12 wallets, you know, the old scrapbooking plastic wallets, just full of old scrapbooking collections, kits from some of them older than 10 years. They go back years and years. And I keep delving into this basket under my desk, and every now and then I pull out one of the plastic wallets that has coordinating stickers and papers and die cuts and goodness knows what, and I just think to myself, right, I'm only going to use stuff from this bag today, and that's exactly what I'm doing today. The other thing I'm doing today, I'm trying a different style of video. I'm actually just going to do a voiceover in this one, but I also want to keep it more real time, if that makes sense. Excuse the camera wobbling here a bit. I'm going at it quite vigorously with the double-sided sticky tape, but I thought it would be really fun just to do like a chatty video whilst I'm journaling in real time, so you can see exactly how long it takes me to make the page, and I'm going to do as little editing to the video as possible. So let me know if you like this style. I think it's fun to change things up a little bit. I don't always want things exactly the same, so this is just something I'm trying. So let me know what you think about this, just for a change. It's fun to try different things. So I really like this paper with the houses, and I thought it would be really fun, seeing as we're obviously all at home most of the time, or we are in our family anyway. So my sister kind of sending me this text from her home to our home just made me think of, yeah, I think that would work really well. I did think about painting some of the houses, but to be honest, I couldn't be bothered. I was actually just having a really nice time journaling, and I just didn't want anything else interfering. I didn't want to have to wait for anything to dry or go and get water, so I left it. Actually, do you know, I could have got my pens out and coloured them in. That would have been quite cute. I do sometimes quite like a black and white image on paper. As much as I love colour, it's then really fun to be able to add your own colour too. But and I'm also being super lazy and tearing. I've been doing that a lot lately. I do love the torn effect, but it's also partially because I can't always be bothered to go and get my trimmer, if I'm totally honest. But as it happened with this page, I was so happy with how the tears looked, and I love that I didn't put it completely to the edge as well. I left some of the edge of the book pages, which I really liked. Everything, like I said, I'm using here are scraps, and basically the text that she sent me is just a screenshot, and I've trimmed it down. I do that quite a bit with like conversations and things. I think conversations are really fun to journal about. They really kind of capture a person, just to be able to document a conversation that's been had. I love this pink paper here. I think this is the actual last piece of this paper now. I don't even know what collection this was from. Do you recognize it? I've had it for so long. Then I was doing this and I was thinking, actually, because the text is a little bit rude, it would be quite fun to kind of have it as hidden journaling in the book. I folded it over to start with that strip of paper, thinking, oh, I can then trim it down. And then I thought, actually, I could then fold it, have the conversation of the text inside the fold, and then it kind of flaps over. So it's like kind of hidden as well. I quite liked that idea. It wasn't planned, it just came together and ended up working really well. Does anybody else have funny siblings? My siblings are absolutely hilarious. They are two of the funniest people I know. I don't think I actually know anybody else quite like them. They're really bizarre. I'm not like them in any way or form, but they do make me laugh, and we do have a really good laugh together. I'm so lucky to have them. I found a stash of journaling cards the other day. I was going through some more stuff. As you know, if you've been watching my other channel, I'm having a major declutter in my studio, in my craft room. I'm going through an area each stage at a time. I will leave the link to my other channel below. And every week I'm adding a new kind of like declutter or makeover type video. I'm loving it, and I'm finding so much stuff like these journal cards. I found a whole load of journal cards. They're from like My Mind's Eye, Chic Tags, Ellie's Studio, loads of really, really good ones. And I thought this would be a good one to have. And then I thought I was going to add a little strip of paper that I could kind of like pull the journaling tag out from. So rather than completely hiding it, it's just like a little pulley out tag. I thought that would go really, really well. So I've just stuck down each side so that the journal tag would slide in. I did need to trim it down slightly so it would fit neatly. As you could see, it just wasn't quite, just a bit too tight. So I trimmed down the edges. I also used a corner punch just so that the corners were nicely trimmed off. See, that fits in really nicely now. And I'm kind of like thinking of a color combo as well. I didn't want it to be too overly colorful this page. I did actually quite like the grays, the blacks, the whites, and so I'm just kind of like adding little pops of color here and there. A little bit different to how I usually do a bright colorful page, but I really liked how this worked, and it worked really, really well. And in case you're wondering, if you've managed to read the text from the photo, why she was calling me at that time, it was because her husband finds her really disgusting. He doesn't find her toilet humour funny. And she tried to call my brother, who didn't pick up his phone. So then she naturally had to call me. She just needed to share it with someone. And I was that lucky person that was able to pick up the phone and share the story with her. Wasn't I so lucky? I'm so grateful that I picked up my phone at just after 10 o'clock on a Saturday evening to hear her story. The other thing I was going to share with you tonight is how my brother and sister are both completely non-stereotypical of their genders, and it's almost like their roles reversed, and always have been. My sister was, as we used to call it, a tomboy when we were kids. There's 5 years between us. She's 5 years younger than me. I was your typical girl, loved homemaking, always had a baby. I was just, really girly, loved stationery, drawing, writing, art. And Sarah Jane, right from as early as I could remember, never played with dolls unless she was drawing on them and pulling them to bits. She was always in the mud, naked with just welly boots on in the garden. I had a pram, she had a tractor. She always wanted to be a boy. Right from as early as I can remember, she wanted to be a boy. She didn't want to wear girls' clothes. And when she was little, you would ask her what she wanted to be when she grew up, and it was a boy or a scarecrow. When she was really little, it was a scarecrow. And then as she got older, she just wanted to be a boy. That's all she wanted to be. And then she got into hockey, ice hockey. As she got into her teens, she was always the sporty one, always the funny one, the rude one, and it's just stayed with her. But now she's just this beautiful woman. She's an amazing mum to 3 kids. She has an amazing husband. She's an amazing homekeeper. She has great taste. Her house is beautiful, spotless. She was a real scruffy kid when she was little as well. She's so pretty. She has an amazing style, but she's still this ice hockey playing, potty mouth, filthy humour, toilet humour girl. So I guess in some ways she hasn't changed, but it's quite interesting when you look back. And then there's my brother, who is the arty one. He's like me, and my sister doesn't cook either. My brother loves to cook, so we're the ones that sort of chat cooking. He likes to scrapbook. He hasn't done that for a while, but he has an art degree. We're the arty ones, the ones that love to cook. He's never been into sports at all. So it's just funny, isn't it, how things work out? But I find it funny, and I love how different we all are, but how similar we are at the same time. So let's get back to my journaling page. I am layering up here. See, I've done more of the tearing. And what I tend to do is, as you know, I don't tend to stick things down fully, so I can always slide bits and pieces in here and there. So I'm really liking this torn and cut look here. So a little bit's torn, a little bit's cut. They're kind of alternated here, and I think that looks really nice. I think that was an Ellie Studio. I found this journal card. You see that with all the vintage cameras. I didn't end up using it, but I love that. I almost feel like I could actually frame that to put in my studio. I'm wanting to work on my gallery walls and update them. I've got 2 gallery walls in the studio, and they're really old now, and I've just got so many rubbishy bits and pieces, so I would like to really work on those. I'm having a rebrand of my business at the moment, and I've got some colours picked out, 3 colours. Can you guess what my colours are? Let me know if you can. My business is called Lollipop Box Club, by the way. Yeah, let me know if you can guess my new branding colours. I'm sure you can if you know me well. But yeah, so I'm wanting my branding to heavily feature in my studio, so like really keeping along with the colour scheme. I cut one of the little houses out from the paper and popped it on here, sort of like adding it as an embellishment, which I thought was really cute. I do really like fussy cutting, and if I have a paper with bits and pieces on, I'm always wanting to cut them out. I'm adding a bit more of the layering here. These are just scraps that were in that bag, and I keep finding bits and pieces. There's something about layering, isn't there? It's just so fun, very satisfying, especially when you're using up scraps as well, bits that would have otherwise ended up in the bin. I found this old piece here as well, and there's some really good wording on here that I thought really kind of pointed towards my sister, imperfect in every way. I just thought that was so cute. She's the one that always has accidents and mishaps. Everything just happens to her. She's always got a story to tell, so I thought that would be really good. I thought one of the arrows would be good as well, and then the wording, oh my days, I just thought was just brilliant to pop over that top flap with the little conversation underneath. And although I'm kind of like saying that there's no junk on this page, to be honest, because so many bits and pieces are just scraps that most other people would have thrown away, in some ways it is a bit of a junk journal still, because a lot of it is junk in effect, so I guess it's not completely a non-junk journal. I think I've kind of like, I'm finding a new style at the moment, and I'm calling it like my arty creative junk journal. It's a bit of an art journal in places, a bit of a creative journal. There's lots of junk added as well. I'm kind of like, my style is evolving at the moment, and I'm really liking where it's going. I'm definitely coming away from the traditional scrapbooking. I think I have been slowly coming away for quite some time. That being said, I still do love a 12 by 12. There's just something that will always be special about a 12 by 12. I think that's because that's where my creative roots kind of like started. So I do feel that's still a special part of my creativity. I'm cutting out this arrow as well, and I thought that would go really well. I stuck those 2 pieces of wording on the flap, and I love how that deeper corally pink matches the deeper corally pink on the other side as well. I always like to have like my colors kind of like matching. To me, that kind of pulls it all in, so that works really, really well for me. You have a lovely bank holiday weekend. Don't you just love a 3-day weekend? I just wish every weekend could be a 3-day weekend. It's so nice, just a regular weekend. I tend to work weekends anyway, though, saying that, but even still, I kind of like change what I do with my work. I don't do as much admin. I try not to sit at my desk so much. But yeah, I just wish every weekend was a 3-day weekend. What did you get up to? Did you do anything nice? And hasn't it been so good to see the sunshine? We haven't really done anything, and in fact on Sunday I just felt really moody. I just felt so tired. And then, you know what it's like, you always feel like everyone else is having fun. You see on Instagram, I don't tend to go on Facebook apart from my own Lollipop chat group, but you just see everybody in their gardens and everyone are hanging out with their friends, and both of us just felt exhausted. And then I just felt really moody because I was too tired to do anything. I couldn't even be bothered to go for a walk. I just felt exhausted. I think I've just had so many days of working like 12, 14 hours and not taking days off, and it just really, really caught up on me. But then I just felt guilty. We both felt guilty having a Netflix day because the sun was so nice. The garden was a mess, and neither of us wanted to go out there, but neither of us had the energy to do anything about it. So we were both just a bit, or I was just a bit grumpy, to be honest. Aid's out in the garden at the moment, so I think we're going to try and have a garden afternoon. and he's mowing the lawn whilst I'm doing this. And I think then the plan is to put the Barbie on. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, let me know what you got up to. Did you chill? Did you hang out in the garden? Did you see friends? It just makes it just such a nice change to have sunshine on a holiday weekend. I found these stickers, and I thought they would be really good to add for some like little mini titles, not like a major title, but you know, like when you've just got a few left and you think, oh gosh, what words can I make? So I thought I would go with short words, and that would be the best way. But yeah, I wanted to use them, and I thought actually having the black they would stand out really, really well. I thought that would be quite fun. I do need to go through all my old kits and collections underneath my desk, because I know I've probably got loads of sheets like this. So this little strip here, it says name, so I'm putting SJ. We don't actually call her SJ unless it's like on a text or something. We always call her Sarah Jane. I think her local friends call her SJ though, obviously short for Sarah Jane. So I'm using that there, and then I end up using the stickers for some other kind of like little mini titles as well, because it just stands out so well. I really like doing that. Let me know if you've got loads and loads of old bits of stash kicking around as well, and how do you store it? I've said that once I've finished doing the major parts of the makeover in my studio, I then want to go through all my old stash. I want to have it better organized, so I've got all my alpha stickers together, because at the moment it's all kind of organized in collections and kits, which I do quite like. I like the fact that I can pull out an old bag from under my desk and everything matches. But I'm also thinking, should I have all like my papers in color order? Should I have them in manufacturer order? Should I have all my alphas together, journal cards together? I'm actually thinking that could make more sense. So then if you need a journal card or a different color alphabet sticker, you can then just find it. It would make more sense. This little scrap of paper that I had with the butterflies on, I've ended up cutting out a load. I thought this was another really fun way to add little pops of colour to my page. So I fussy cut these butterflies, and I'm just grabbing my glue and I'm going to stick them on the page. I thought it'd be really nice to add those little pops of colour. So I'm just sticking down the centres and just popping them here and there. And I thought that would see how the cute little bit of colour, it just works really, really well. So I'm going with like greens and pale pinks and aquas, yellows. I just think it looks really pretty. And I'm really happy with those alphabet stickers as well. I just think they look great on the page. They really, really stand out. One of my reasons for starting this YouTube channel was to make me more accountable and make me journal more. I always wanted to journal and scrapbook, and I just never found the time. And so when I did, it just felt a bit stressful and it felt rushed. So I just figured if I started a separate channel, I also wanted to keep the creativity videos separate from my other channel, because they're more like behind the scenes of running my business. So the two didn't really go together necessarily, especially when we also share our Disney videos. There's just too much of a mismatch or mix of everything. So I decided to keep the creative videos separately. But one of the other reasons was I hoped that it would actually make me feel like I had to journal, because I had to get videos up. I know that sounds really silly, but it's really, really worked, and I'm having so much fun, and I'm journaling more now than I have done for absolutely years. So it's definitely worked for me. I wanted to add a few bits and pieces. I'm going through, this is like one of the little like separators, the containers from my drawers, and I keep like just various bits and pieces, mostly die cuts, as you can see, and it's really handy having them all together. And I tend to do this with most pages I create now. I just go through, pick out a few bits and pieces, and this is another area that I would really like to organize better in my drawer, to have things again more like functional things. I found a little tab sticker here. The idea is that it's supposed to stick the tab down, but not completely down. But it hasn't actually worked that well. But the idea was there. It's meant to stay down, but it just doesn't really want to. But it's not really that important. but it would be quite cute. I love a tab. I've got so many little tab tops, but I'm kind of thinking I've got a few of these little containers, and it would be really fun to organize all my die cuts. So like that was a Halloween one. So like we've got like maybe seasonal, we've got floral, we've got titles, you know, sort of like icon stickers, that kind of thing, or not stickers, but die cuts. I think that would work really well in helping me to find them. I found these drawer separators on eBay years ago, and I've since been asked about them. And I can't actually really find them anymore these days. It really was years ago that I bought them, and they were like 99p. I think there's quite a few things that you don't really find on eBay now. I think it's since Brexit. I don't know if things have just become more expensive, because obviously they're from China. I don't know if they've just harder to send these days. So a lot of things I'm not finding, or you find them like on Amazon, but they're really quite expensive. They're not cheap like they used to be. I've attached another little tab top there, and now I'm just going through and just finding little die cuts with pops of colour that I can add, like this little leaf here. And I just think sometimes it's all the finishing touches that really make a difference to a page. I was doing this journaling on a Saturday evening. The boys were watching the football, so I just shut myself away, chatting with a friend online, and it was so relaxing. And this is what I love about journaling the most, I think, the escapism. I have so much fun, just shut myself away, forget about everything, and just focus on pretty papers and stickers and colours. And I just love to tell funny stories like what I'm journaling today. I think journaling's quite a personal thing, isn't it? And I think people do it for different reasons. I do it for relaxation purposes, and some people like to journal all the heavy stuff, and I've spoken about this in videos before, and I've tried to do that kind of thing. I've tried to do the kind of like get your feelings all down on paper, and that just stresses me out. This kind of thing is what makes me happy. This is what I love to journal the most, just silly bits and pieces that don't really mean anything, that have made me smile, and I just enjoy the actual process of doing it, playing with all the papers and using bits and pieces up. So I think with journaling, it's finding out what you enjoy the most and what you want to get out of it. And for me as well, it's just having that time away from the family, time away from work, and I just feel sometimes it makes me a better mum, a better wife, just for giving myself that time. This was just a 25-minute page, and that's all it took, and I just always leave my studio then feeling refreshed when I've given myself that time. And I sometimes think to do that a couple of times a week, it's not asking too much, is it? I don't go out to the gym or anything like that. I don't really go out full stop, to be honest. So just giving myself this little bit of journaling time really makes the difference to me. So I think it's well worth it. And then I've got all these happy memories to look back on as well. I am loving my junk journals at the moment. I really am. Did you see the recent one that I've created? I've used a Dr. Seuss book. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I haven't worked in it yet. It's set up though. I will leave the link below if you haven't seen it. And I'm basically turning it into a travel bucket list. And I'm so excited, but I want to do some proper research. So I do have a little mini book that I've made, and with scribbled notes of bits and pieces that we want to visit. And I thought it would be really fun just to take that mini book a step further and then really research the places that we're really interested in going, and like printing off maps, finding out other information. And so having this travel bucket list, not just as like, oh, I'd love to go there, but more the research behind it and really look into certain places. I know like we'd really love to go to Japan, for example. So I think that would be really fun and actually turn it into a proper project. And the Dr. Seuss book that I've chosen, Oh, the Places We'll Go, the story behind that and how that's come about is in that video. I just feel really excited about it, and it just all seems really perfect for that type of project. So I'm really looking forward to starting that, and now the book's all set up, I'm ready. So this page is pretty much done. I've added quite a lot of the die cuts, again just using up bits and pieces, which I was really happy with. I did then come away and journal off camera. I always find that easier. I don't know if anyone else feels the same. I kind of like feel when I'm journaling I need to just stop what I'm doing and just focusing on the journaling. Do you find that if you make videos, for example, or I can't even journal with a YouTube video on, I have to switch it off and I almost need like silence just to concentrate. But here is the finished page with all the journaling, and I've got all these little strips here that I've used. I'm really pleased with that, and I love how I've kind of like alternated bits and pieces. And then the other side here is the flap that does not want to stick down, and then I've got my journal card which pulls out quite nicely, and that's the little story behind the text, which is obviously really important to the page. It opens out to the rude text underneath, which isn't that rude, but it is kind of like a bit rude, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I've documented this story and I'm really, really pleased. It's a silly one, which I love and is just so my sister. But I really hope you've enjoyed this video today. I'm not sure what you'll think of the different kind of style, but let me know what you think, and if you'd like more videos like this, a bit more chatty and that kind of thing. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.